Good evening, I'm Sarah Sapsanama. Let's begin with the top stories of the hour. Prime Minister Oli says the government will book anyone guilty of involvement in the cooperatives case. Speaking in the final session of Kantipur conclave, the two-day event on democracy comes to a conclusion. Nepal to begin exporting power to Bangladesh through India tomorrow as the tripartite power agreement comes into effect. Bangladesh to import 9,000 megawatts of power by 2039. Sri Lanka begins vote counting in a snap election that will decide if the Indian Ocean Island nation will give its new leftist president greater legislative power as it recovers from financial meltdown. And under-19 women's cricket team arrive home to heroes' welcome, having ensured Nepal's berth for the first time in the World Cup. Khan announces prize money for each player. Prime Minister KP Sharma Oli has said the government will bring to jurisdiction all those alleged or guilty of involvement in the cooperatives fraud case. Speaking at the final session of Kantipur conclave in the capital, Premier Oli clarified Rashtra Swatantra Party's chair Ravi Lamichhane had been arrested as per the party report submitted by Parliamentary Committee. He added that he would have no part if Lamichhane is deemed innocent or guilty of charges.
गिरफ्तार गरेर कारबाही गर्नुपर्ने अवस्था सम्मानित अदालतले देख्यो। उहाँलाई चाहिँ इन्क्वायरीका लागि त्यहाँ राखेको छ। निर्दोष हुनुहुन्छ भने सफाई पाउनुहुन्छ। मैले गरेर सफाई पाएको होइन है, त्यो सफाई पाउनुभयो भने। पर्नुभयो भने मैले गरेर परेको होइन है, उहाँका कर्मले पर्या।
Speaking further on the cooperatives fraud case, Premier Oli also added that the police have been probing and taking statements from Nepali Congress Vice President Dhanraj Gurung as he is alleged of involvement in the mishandling of cooperatives' money. The Premier also clarified that his party would not protect parliamentarian Rishikesh Pokhrel if he is found guilty of involvement. Pokhrel is also the chairperson of Parliament's Public Accounts Committee.
धेरैवटा दृष्टान्त छन् यस्ता नेकपा एमाले आफ्नै मान्छे पनि कहिले-कहिले अन्यायमा पनि परे हुन सक्छ, तर पनि हामीले न्यायको निम्ति जाँदाखेरि आफै सफाई देऊ, लड, तर पार्टी यसमा हुलुजत गर्न जाँदैन भनेर।
Upon being asked about speculations from the opposition that the government was introducing an ordinance related to political parties, Premier Oli said it was necessary due to lack of laws on leaving a party. He added that the government had a two-third majority required even if a bill was tabled at the House of Representatives first. Prime Minister Oli assured that the Civil Service Act and Federal Police Act would be appropriately introduced. He admitted that the country's economy was not in a good state, but said Nepal's democracy was not at a crossroads. The fifth session of the second day of Kantipur conclave brought together chief ministers of all provinces. They claimed that provinces have worked better than the federal and local governments amid criticisms for their performance. Speaking at a session of Kantipur conclave, chief ministers of all the 7 provinces said it was quick to seek for a result, adding that it only had been 7 years since the country adopted federal structure. They also reiterated their demand for resources and rights.
जस्तो नेपाल सरकारले आफ्नो प्रगति पेश गर्दाखेरि वित्तीय प्रगति र भौतिक प्रगति जुन पेश गर्छ त्यस तुलनामा सबै 7 प्रदेशहरू वित्तीय प्रगति र भौतिक प्रगतिमा संघीय संरचना र स्थानीय संरचना भन्दा धेरै माथि छन्।
तुरुन्त रिजल्ट खोज्छौं, आजको भोलि रिजल्ट खोज्छौं। हाम्रो संहिता आएको भर्खर 7 वर्ष भएको छ, त्यसमा जुन यो 3 तहको संरचना भएको छ जसमा कि प्रदेश सरकार पनि आछ। म दाइको कुरोलाई समर्थन गर्दै अब यो 7 वर्षको पिरियडमा 7 इयर्सको बच्चाले कतिको परफर्मेन्स दिन्छ भनेर क्वेशन मार्क त्यहाँ छ।
Chief Minister of Gandaki Province, Surendra Raj Pandey, said the provinces had received criticisms for lapses on part of the federal government.
तर अवस्था के छ भन्दाखेरि संघीय सरकारले बनाउनु पर्ने कानुनहरू र संघीय संसदले बनाउनु पर्ने कानुनहरू अब यो शब्द प्रयोग गर्दाखेरि राम्रो हुँदैन। सङ्घीय संसद र सरकारको नालायकीपनका कारणले गर्दाखेरि गाली प्रदेशमा बसेर हामीले खाइरहेका छौँ।
The 7 chief ministers were on the same page, saying the provinces could perform as expected if they had rights as set by the Constitution. In the first session of the day on electoral reform, CPNUML General Secretary Shankar Pokhrel said the existing election law had created problems and said there was a need to raise the election threshold to 5%. In response, Chief Election Commissioner Dinesh Thaparia said existing weaknesses could be improved to move ahead. Former Chief Election Commissioner of India, Shahabuddin Yaqub Quraisi, highlighted on the need for experienced individuals for the Commission to be able to deliver.
They all come from civil service background. There was no qualification till recently, but government, every government chose only civil servants because they have the experience.
Researcher at Wanzhong University of Science and Technology, Wang Pen, claimed external geopolitics and influence of India had caused the failure to implement Belt and Road Initiative in Nepal. Director of America's South Asia Institute, Michael Kugelman, opined there were chances that the incoming administration of President-elect Donald Trump would give continuity to the Indo-Pacific strategy. Indian journalist Suhasini Haider claimed the Trump administration would not be interested in any other countries in South Asia except India. Tribhuvan University rector Khadga Kesis opined the changing stance of parties while in the ruling and opposition sides had added challenges to the country's foreign policy. Speakers of the Prosperity Beyond Borders session opined hassle-full legal system had discouraged foreign direct investments in Nepal. Foreign Affairs Minister Arju Rana expressed commitment that existing laws would be further amended within 3 months to facilitate FDIs. 13 sessions were conducted in the 2-day Kantipur Conclave 2024. Now in our Public Voice segment, today we've asked in several provinces who should do what to ensure democracy is on track. Let's take a look at what they had to say.
मत प्राप्त गरिसकेपछि जनतामाथि दिग्दर्शन नहुँदाखेरि लोकतन्त्र धरापमा परेको छ।
आफूले पनि भ्रष्टाचार गर्नु भएन र अरूलाई पनि भ्रष्टाचार गर्न दिनु भएन।
देशका नेताहरू नै सच्चिन अति आवश्यक छ।
पहिला त लोकतन्त्रको विश्वव्यापी मर्म अनुसारको शासन व्यवस्था र व्यवहार हुनु पर्यो। जनता सचेत रहनु पर्यो।
हरेकका हक अधिकार र कानुनहरूलाई कार्यान्वयनमा ल्यायौं भने हाम्रो लोकतन्त्र एकदमै बलियो हुन्छ जस्तो मलाई लाग्छ।
लोकतान्त्रिक चुनाव पद्धति र कानुनी शासनलाई अंगीकार गर्यो भने लोकतन्त्र संस्थागत हुन्छ।
नेतृत्व वर्गले पनि लोकतन्त्रलाई एउटा ठोस बलियो बनाउनको लागि जनताको माझमा जनताको एजेन्डाहरूलाई राम्रोसित सम्बोधन गरेर
स्थायी सरकार हुनु पर्यो जसले 5 वर्ष आरामले सरकार चलाओस्।
नेताजीहरू र हाम्रो जनता जुन हुनुहुन्छ उहाँको सँग सहकार्य गरेर चाहिँ गयो भने
संविधानले बजेटको नेताहरूले त्यसलाई पालना गरिदिनु पर्यो।
जुन जुन घोषणा पत्र अनुसार बोलेका थिए जनताको बीचमा त्यो अनुसार अब मूल्याङ्कन गर्नुपर्ने समीक्षा गर्नुपर्ने हो र हामीले जनताको लागि काम गर्यौं कि गरेनौं भने
समाजमा सबै तह तबका आफ्नो आफ्नो भूमिका हुन्छ र त्यसरी नै अगाडि बढाउनु पर्दा राम्रो देखिन्छ।
We'll take a short break here. More news coming. Nepal is to begin exporting 40 megawatt electricity to Bangladesh from tomorrow. According to Nepal Electricity Authority (NEA), the transmission will be done between 12:45 p.m. till midnight through India. This is as per the tripartite agreement between Nepal, India and Bangladesh to export power between June 15 to November 15. Nepal will export power to Bangladesh every Friday at the rate of 6.4 US cents per unit, which is 8.58 Nepali rupees. India will earn 0.595 Indian rupees per unit in wheeling charges. The export agreement had been in preparation since 6 years. Bangladesh aims to import 9,000 megawatts of power from Nepal until the year 2039. It is time now for our segment Public Pulse, where you text us with your opinion.
Public Pulse, brought to you by Uniglobe SS and College, Kamladi, Kathmandu.
But before today's question, let's take a look at the results from yesterday's poll. Yesterday we'd asked you, why do you think more than 2/3 applicants had failed the teacher's license examination? 32% voted for option A, weak learning, 49% for B, lack of capable applicants, and 19% for C, a question on the examination mechanism. Here's today's question. What should the state do for female athletes that have been bringing home success one after the other? Your options are A. Raise investment, B. Increase number of sports activities, and C. Develop infrastructure. The voting is on. Type NEWS, select your option A, B or C and send it to 34001 to share your opinion with us. Time now for international update. The voting process of the 2024 parliamentary election to elect representatives to the 10th Parliament of Sri Lanka has officially concluded. Voting, which commenced at 7 a.m., concluded at 4 p.m. local time. The voting process was carried out at 13,421 polling centres across Sri Lanka. 5,006 candidates representing recognized political parties contested the 2024 general election. Meanwhile, 3,346 independent candidates contested the election. Voter turnout for the general election is strong in many districts, with more than 55% of people casting their votes today. The Nuwara Elia district led with a 60% turnout, while the other districts showing high turnout included Badulla at 54% and Anuradhapura and Gampaha, both at 52%. The highest number of voters belonged to the Gampaha electoral district, and the number stood at 1.8 million. The lowest number of voters is recorded in the Mannar electoral district, and the number of eligible voters was 91,607. The Sri Lankan parliament is made up of 225 seats. Out of that, 196 are elected through the parliamentary vote. The remaining 29 seats will be filled by national list candidates. Vote counting is now underway in the counting centres across Sri Lanka, while the election result will come by tomorrow evening. Sri Lankans cast their ballots today in a snap parliamentary election, months after electing a Marxist-leaning president in the Indian island nation's first election since the 2022 economic meltdown and political crisis. Among those contesting are Chanu Nimesh, the first openly transgender candidate who hopes to forge a more inclusive and tolerant political culture on the South Asian island.
People are estimated to make up about 1% of Sri Lanka's 22 million people. They frequently face social rejection, lack legal protection, and have almost no representation in the political parties. But contesting from Kegal, about 80 kilometers east of Colombo and dotted with rubber plantations for a seat in the 225-strong parliament, is Chanu Nimesha, the first transgender candidate for Sri Lanka. Nimesha says her message of social justice had been well received.
ඇත්තටම මනුෂ්‍ය අපිට වැදගත් වෙන්නේ මිනිසුන් හැටියට මනුෂ්‍යත්වය. එයා ස්ත්‍රීද පුරුෂද කියන එක නෙවෙයි. ලිංගිකත්වය නෙවෙයි. අපිට එහෙම සමාජයක් නැත්තම් එහෙම සමාජයක් හදන්න තමයි මේ අපි ඒ වෙනස කරන්න තමයි මේ කරන්නේ. මේක එක්තරා වෙනසක්. ඒ පරිවර්තනයේ ක්‍රියාවලිය එක පියවරක් මේක. ඇත්තටම ජනතාව අපිට ඡන්දය දුන්නොත් අපි පාර්ලිමේන්තුවේදී කෑගල්ල දිස්ත්‍රික්කයට මහත් දෙයක් කරන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා. ඒ වගේම දේශපාලනිකව පරිවර්තනයක් කරන්න මේ සමාජයට අපි ඉදිරි ක්‍රියාමාර්ග දිගටම ගන්නවා. ජනතාව වෙනුවෙන්, පන්තිය වෙනුවෙන්, විශේෂයෙන්ම කම්කරු පන්තිය වෙනුවෙන්. එහෙම නැති වුණත් අපි මහ පොළොවේ සටන අපි අතාරින්නේ නැහැ. විශේෂයෙන්ම මේ වෙනස, මේ පරිවර්තනය ක්‍රියාවලිය අපි දිගටම මහා පාරේ කරනවා.
The 49-year-old is contesting for the Socialist Party of Sri Lanka and one of about 8,000 candidates in the poll, which comes less than 2 months after Marxist-leaning Anurag Kumara Dissanayake won September's presidential election. High debt, short-sighted economic policies, and tourism revenue losses from the COVID-19 pandemic plunged Sri Lanka into its worst financial crisis in more than 7 decades in 2022. Nimesha was one of the thousands who marched in Colombo that year to occupy then-President Gotabaya Rajapaksa's office and residence, forcing him to flee the country and later resign. Supported by a $2.9 billion International Monetary Fund bailout, Sri Lanka has made a tentative recovery, but a quarter of the population still remains in poverty. Nimesha raised funds for her activism and political campaign by working as a quantity surveyor at a nearby construction site. She is also an amateur actress composes music, and has written a book set to be published in the next 2 months. Born in the southern town of Gaul, Nimesha was 14 when her father was killed in a political insurgency in 1989. She eventually moved to Colombo and is no longer in touch with her conservative family. She has made peace with her family's decision to sever ties. In the face of adversity, her determination to foster inclusivity only grows stronger. She hopes to forge a more inclusive and tolerant political culture in the South Asian island.
We've got more news coming up, but right now it's time for yet another short break. It is time now for Sports Update.
Sports News.
The Under-19 national women's cricket team arrived home this evening after winning the Asia qualifiers for the ICC Under-19 Women's T20 World Cup. They were given a grand welcome at the Trivandrum International Airport. Captained by Pooja Mahato and coached by Mahesh Rizal, the Nepal team had defeated UAE by 8 wickets in the final match of the qualifiers to ensure its place in the Under-19 T20 World Cup. This is the first time Nepal women team have secured participation in any World Cup. The Under-19 World Cup has been scheduled for 18 January to 2nd February in Malaysia. 16 teams are participating in the event. Nepal is in Group D alongside Australia, Bangladesh and Scotland. Nepal also co-hosts the Under-19 Women's T20 World Cup 2027. Nepal had debuted in the international cricket in the year 2007. Cricket Association of Nepal (CAN) has announced of awarding 250,000 rupees each to players of the Under-19 women's cricket team for ensuring the team's berth in the World Cup. The association issued a press release today and also announced that the team officials would be awarded 150,000 rupees each. The Under-19 team will play its first match against Bangladesh on January 18, second against Scotland on 20th and against Australia on the 22nd. 16 participating teams have been divided into 4 groups. Nepal are in Group D. That is all for the moment. Thank you for watching. Good night.